Yes, I would have to say I thought it was amazing. I was really blown away by it. I wasn't massively involved with the production. I mean, they showed me the script when the script was ready, sort of out of courtesy. I didn't write any of the script, but you know, I made like a couple of suggestions. But that was as far as I was. That was as far as I was involved in it. But I went up to see some of the filming, and when I looked at some of the filming, you know, I could just tell that it was going to be good. Andrew Garfield, the central character, you know, is an amazing actor. You know, he won a BAFTA for Best Actor, which is the kind of the British version of the Oscars. He won the Best Actor BAFTA for his part in that film. So obviously he's an incredibly talented guy, and we were amazingly lucky that he was able to do the film. And Peter Mullen also, who plays Terry, the kind of mentor figure, outstanding actor. You know, I've seen a lot of his other work, and he does a lot of sort of Ken Loach things. You might have seen My Name Is Joe. He was in, and yeah, he's an amazing actor. And John Crowley, the director, did a fantastic job. He won the BAFTA for Best Director as well. So I mean, you can see it was just a team of people all working at the top of their game, and very talented people. And I thought the result was amazing. You know, I obviously know the story fairly well, and watching it at the cinema for the first time, I had tears in my eyes a couple of times, because I just thought it was incredible. It was so moving how they did it, but they just let it sort of unfold as a story. There wasn't any of the sort of deliberateness that you sometimes get with films where they heavy-handedly try and make the audience cry. There was none of that, but it just the way the story unfolded was incredibly well done. I think there are elements of it that have certainly gone too far. The tabloid press, as we refer to it, the sort of lower end of the newspaper scale, I think definitely go too far quite often. In many ways, Britain's got a fantastic press. You know, it's incredibly free. I know in Italy, for example, that there are some problems with so much of the media being in the hands of some very prominent individuals. In the UK, we don't have that problem at all, but perhaps the press has gone too far in the other direction. It's so free, it's so searching all the time. There's just been a big scandal where it's turned out that newspapers, News of the World actually, which is one of the villains that is named in Boy A, had been tapping the phones of various high-profile individuals, you know, from footballers to politicians, to just actors and actresses, people, you know, people who, okay, they're in the public eye, but it's not investigative journalism in the way that, you know, it's bringing a criminal to justice, or exposing illegality at the heart of government or anything. It's just looking for gossip stories. Now there's no real privacy laws in the UK, so it does create a problem, and I think to a degree people get the press that they deserve. I mean, if people didn't buy those newspapers, they'd stop publishing those stories. So there's a thirst for it, but I think the press has become too powerful. The Sun, very famously, when John Major was elected, the last Conservative Prime Minister Britain's had, the Sun had a headline the next day that said it was the Sun what won it. And largely that was true. The day before the election, the Sun newspaper had called on all of its readers, most of whom, or many of whom, would have been voting Labour. It said, you know, don't vote Labour. Said that if Labour get in, the last one to leave the country, turn off the lights. And very probably it was a very narrow margin of victory, and very probably the Conservative did win because the Sun told people to go and vote Conservative. Now that's not reporting the news, that's making the news in a very big way. And yes, there's numerous situations where, well, people have even been driven to suicide because they've been pursued so much by the press. I think after the death of Lady Diana, that was kind of a turning point. I think people then realised, okay, there's something a bit wrong with how the press in this country functions. You know, we need to look at it, and some newspapers have behaved a bit better since then, but obviously with the as I say, the phone tap evidence that's just come out this week, there's clearly still a very large problem there. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that's told you a bit about the background to my novel Boyer, and I hope you'll enjoy reading it.